I forget that. That's bad.
I hope so, friendly.
I think they are.
Is Mike, okay, well, Mike,
Yeah.
will you do, background? Hello, Chicago! This is my kind of town, Chicago. It's my kind of town, Chicago. It's my kind of people who watch Doctor Who. Yeah.
Hide under the sofa. So we got swivel chairs. So we can actually chase each other around the stage when we get bored.
I'm got it.
Yes. So, Frazer, I wanted to ask you a question about, I've always wanted to ask you a question, in fact, about the start of your career, because you were a child actor, and you were a child actor in the British film and television industry in the 50s. That must have
Yeah, when I started television, when I started acting, television was very much in its infancy. So I was doing movies. One of the first movies I ever did was King in New York. When I'm back home in England and at a party and somebody says, you know, Laurence Olivier said to me, I said, well, Charlie Chaplin once said to me, Charlie Chaplin did a picture called King in New York.
That's right.
And it's on DVD, and I'm not plugging it because I don't get any residual, but King New York. And I was playing this little boy. He was an exiled king that came to this special school, and if you were an artist, you got all the paint, if you were a sculptor, you got all the clay. And I was a little boy who liked cooking, and he taught me how to roll out these cakes and pick my nose and make holes for the cherries, and sing grand opera at the same time. And he was a lovely man, and I did this scene for him. And the next day, I went up. I said, Mr. Chaplin, I've got an idea for a bit of comedy. And when you're 9 or 10 years old, you have no fear. And instead of going on the ear and said, I am Charlie Chaplin, I've written, starring, produced, directed it. He said, what do you think is comedy, Frazer? I said, you've got this fur hat. If I put some cream in it and you put it on, isn't that funny? I went, no, because I'd seen the cream in the hat, but if you make it into a cake and I sit in it, then you have comedy. And that man was so great that he could listen to a little 9, 10-year-old boy. It's probably in our business. So many people get halfway up the rung of ladder of success and they've stopped listening. They don't listen. I listen all the time. But when I'm doing pantomime back home, if a little babe, one of the babes comes up, Frazer, I've got a new joke. Yeah. I'll go, what is this, sweetheart? I'll go on stage, tell that joke, and probably get the biggest laugh of the night. And really, you know, so you never ever stop listening, particularly in show business. Always listen to somebody.
Now, did you find it hard acting at a young age? I mean, did you feel that you lost out on anything as a kid, or did you just sort of juggle between the two?
Well, you missed a lot of the playing cowboys and Indians, and we weren't allowed to play cricket or football at the drama school in case you broke an arm or broke a leg or got a black eye. So we missed a little of that, and we missed knocking on people's doors and running away and tying firecrackers to a cat's tail. No, we missed all that. So.
You missed basically torturing.
But one of the other movies was, again, it's on DVD, starring Dean Jagger, was X the Unknown. One of the first Hammer horror films. And I played a little boy, there was Scots boys, I played a lot of Scots boys at that time. And my pal, we think that this guy's turning into a vampire bat, so we follow him into the woods. And we're filming about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had to say, hey Willie, go and see if he turns into a vampire bat. I'll wait for you for 5 minutes. And on the take, this owl went, we won't make that 3 minutes. Leslie Norman, the director, cut, fell off his chair laughing, everybody's laughing, and instead of giving me a rollicking, he went, that's a good little ad-lib. He said, we'll do it take again. Obviously the owl will not hoot. He said, but leave a pause and I'll put something on later. So when you see the movie X the Unknown, that's Frazer doing one of his first ever ad-libs.
You were always doing accents from an early age then? So it was...
Oh yes, in those days you had, you could do a Scottish accent, or you played a Welsh boy, I played an American boy in a TV show called Member of the Wedding by Thornton Wilder.
Yeah, Thornton Wilder.
And I had to kind of do this deep, Mary there, I kind of really want a real deep side accent like that. You know. And ever since then, one of my dreams is that I was blonde. Hey Frazer Hines, you ready to come to Bay right now? That's one of my fantasies, one of my bucket lists. Nobody likes to sit in the front. Nobody sits in the front.
Oh, I know. They're all reserved, apparently.
On reserve? All right.
So you must have done some live television before you even did
Can I just
documentaries.
tell you one other movie? As I said, I did old films when I was a young kid. Another one was called The Weapon, with Elizabeth Scott, who was a very beautiful, blonde, husky-voiced American actress. She did The Weapon, and then she flew back to the States and did Lonesome Star, or with Elvis, anyway. And she was beautiful, blonde, and the film was about her son finds a gun in these bomb sites and shoots one of our men, and he goes into hiding. So I go back to his house with my pal and a little dog to try and get his school cap and sniff out and find out where he's living or hiding. So we rehearsed the scene with Elizabeth Scott. She had a raincoat on. That's fine, raincoat. Inside her house, I don't know. We young kids. And then Val Guest, the director, said, let's go for a take. And she took off her raincoat and she stood in pink bra, pink slip, and pink pants. That's all she, and we were. We'd never seen a woman in her underwear before, you know. And after about 5 minutes, Elizabeth said, I think we better go for a take before these little boys grow into big men. I've always had a thing for blondes since then. And the reason was, she put her skirt and blouse on. So to rehearse, she wanted a coat on, but then she didn't want the dog hair on her costume, so that's why she would just rehearse with the raincoat. And then she put a skirt. So when you go to see the film, you're not going to see Elizabeth Scott in her own.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
But that's all right. You must have done some live television as well during when you were younger. I mean, that must have been really, really kind of frantic and difficult.
One of the first things I did was Hunting Tower by John Buchan.
That's right.
Playing Napoleon, little fat boy, funny enough. And that was directed and produced by Sean Sutton.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, Sean put me into the Silver Sword, which people in England nowadays have come up and said, oh, Frazer, you know, we've been following your career since a little boy, the Silver Sword. In those days, you'd have Sunday lunch and then go and watch some TV set as a family. And then I did Run to Earth, Cinderella. I did all these programs with Sean Sutton. Roll on 10 years. I get a phone call from my agent, you've got to go and see Innes Lloyd for Doctor Who. So I went to see Innes Lloyd, and he was an old Navy man, dressed like Harry Sullivan down there in the third row. Blazer, pipe. Hello, Frazer, old boy. He said, Sean Sutton, who was the head then of Children's Film. Sean, we're doing this thing called the Highlanders, and Sean said you can do a Scottish accent. Is that right? I said, yeah, yes, I can do this. Great. So next week, go and get measured for a kilt and everything, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time on occasion. And that was it. I didn't have to read or act or anything. So that's how I got the part in Doctor Who.
So take us through, because I think all of us probably watched An Adventure in Space and Time last week, and we got to see 60s Doctor Who being made, but it's nothing like talking to someone who was actually there. What was it like to actually tape an episode of Doctor Who? Like, you did it all sort of in like 12-minute takes, kind of done live.
We did as many, I mean, nowadays they'd shoot all the TARDIS.
Yes.
They'd shoot all these scenes, then all the back scenes.
Yeah.
But we did it, we would start off the TARDIS, every episode seemed to start at the TARDIS, and then the doors would open and we'd go out into the space station or the barren land, and then back into the TARDIS. They would do 3 or maybe 4 scenes in one, and the only reason they'd stop is if the camera cables, camera 3 would stop me, you can't go any further because I can't get my cable over there, I'm supposed to be over there. So that's the only reason. So we do 3 or 4 scenes. And I think it was because we'd all been used to doing theatre work. We were used to doing 40, 50 pages, 40, 50 lines, whatever, in one hit. Nowadays, I think a lot of actors will go, oh gosh, I only used to do 5 lines in one go, and that's it. We were all theatre trained, even though Patrick never liked theatre.
So so if you flopped a line, you just basically kept on going, right? And
nowadays, yeah, if you put a line up, you go, oh, so let's go back to, Graham, let's go back to when you asked Frazer about the TARDIS again. You know, just go 3 lines back. But if you got it wrong, we'd have to go back to the first scene. So it was a hell of pressure on you to do all those scenes once. And that's why you'll see in some of our early stuff, there's a little fluff, you know, somebody will go, let's get the exterminate, right? Instead of going, let's get the exterminate. The little fluffs, nowadays you go, oh, Bob, sorry, I said that wrong. In those days, you just had to get on with it.
Keep going.
Unless it's a major thing where you forgot somebody's name or forever. Let's go into that, what's it called again? Oh, Tardis, yeah. You know, let's go into that, you know, they were kind of...
So was there ever a fear of corpsing where you suddenly just burst into the giggles or something like that, doing that?
You get all the giggles at the beginning on Monday, you do a read through,
right,
and then start to block it. On Tuesday, you get all the giggles out then. And any actor that joined us, be broken by the Wednesday. Wolverine Morris playing Paris and Barlow in the
Marvel Summit.
That's the one, yeah. To get the story. He was talking very seriously. My name is Pamela Sabava. I have the great intelligence. By the Wednesday, my name is Sabava. Intelligence. But you had to get that, you know, because by Thursday and Friday, you know, that was it. Producers run, and you're in the studio. So you had to get those giggles out.
Goodness. Now, working with Patrick Troughton, that must have been like a once in a lifetime experience.
He was a lovely man. I worked with Patrick about 2 years previous at a thing called Smuggler's Bay, where I played John Trenchard. It was originally Moonfleet, that famous book called Moonfleet.
Yeah.
And Patrick was an old smuggler, and you're late. Excuse me? You're late? Have you got a note?
I've got a £10 note.
No, that'll do, yes. I forgive you because you have travelled from a long way in time, haven't you?
I've only got American money.
What you missed? I went to Cronus for what church I this was what any boys do. That's so far we got. You have this. But Patrick was he was lovely and great fun working with him. It really was. One of the stories, the enemy of the world has just been found. Brought back a lovely story. Thank you. When Patrick, plays Salamander, for those who haven't seen Enemy of the World, the first day rehearsal, he came up to little Deborah and I said, what do you think is Salamander speak the gringo accent? And little Deborah went, are you really going to play it like that? And he said, why? I said, Salamander doesn't come from Wales. And he sloped off, you could upset him. But no, he was marvelous. He was great in Salamander.
Oh, he's tremendous. He strikes me as an actor that's very kind of, he'll never do the same scene twice the same way. He's always trying to figure out a new way of doing it when he does it. Was that kind of fun to kind of work with that?
Well, I've heard a lot of stories about Patrick didn't learn his lines and stuff. No, of course he did. But,
of course he did.
But with that short, if you had to say, Jerry, let's get to the task. Are you with me? And they go, of course I'm not. That's in the same script. If you said, Jerry, we've got to get into the TARDIS. Do you think you can go? I could say, no, I'm going to say, yes, I'm with you. You said, of course I can go, Doctor. You have to be a listening actor. And Patrick always said Frazer is a listening actor, and I used to listen to him. You can't just learn lines and go, I'm not supposed to, no, I can't reply to that. You have to listen and reply to what is said and done.
Yeah. He plays an actor that very much kind of goes with the moment, and he seems like he's always constantly inventing and constantly kind of.
We're always looking for characters. We're always looking at my badge on. Look at the size of that thing, because funny enough, I was doing the thing with Big Finish that you just seen, and my first with Hagen Prime, I read the first scene as Doctor and Jamie. I did Jamie's voice, and I did the Doctor kind of. Yes, come on, Jamie, we're going to do this. And Nigel Fair, the director, well, like Frazer, I'll just sort of listen to it back, And I said, yes, I'm going to try like this. Frazer, that sounds like Patrick. I said, well, yes, I do this sort of Patrick story when I'm telling the gang about, He said, well, just do it again, this time, that's Patrick. So I do this Patrick, and he said, that's it, keep us out. Because what happened, we were doing the Emperor Dalek story. This Emperor Dalek was as high as this building here. And my line was, look at the balls of that thing, Doctor. So he said, I can't say that. And Derek Marshall's the director was tearing his hair out. I said, I can't. So look at the size of that thing. Yes, Jamie, it is big, isn't it? So, roll on 16 years, and John Nathan Turner were doing the two Doctors. And my line was, I great story, great back. And my line was, hey, look at the size of that space station, Doctor. And I said, hey, look at the size of that thing, Doctor. And John Nathan said, stop. The script says, look at the size of the space station. Patrick, no. At the beginning of the story, Jamie always said, look at the size of that thing, Doctor. Yes, Jamie, it is a big one, isn't it? And if you watch the Seeds of Death, we always try to sneak it in. Seeds of Death. The TARDIS lands at that museum. It was a big rocket ship. And we didn't want to have us. And I went, hey, the producer's like, look at the size of that thing, Doctor. He said, yes, it is rather large, isn't it? So we're always trying to sneak it.
You guys were always like playing jokes on each other and stuff like that. I mean, it sounds like it was a very happy set.
It was a it was a tight schedule, work-wise, but it was a happy set. It really was. It was a joy to go to work. It was one day you tried to work and, oh God, I hope Patrick's in a good mood. Oh, I hope I fall over with a boyfriend. You never, ever, you just drove, it was a shame to get the money. But, we had so much fun.
We'll have to take some questions from the audience. So if you guys want to line up at this microphone here, in the meantime, I'm going to ask Frazer more questions. I wanted to ask about because in your later postdoctoral career, you were on Emmerdale for a number of years when it was Emmerdale Farm, and what was it? You sort of had a second startup with that. And
That was right.
So what was it like when you were a soap star? Because you sort of get recognized in the street.
That was a real working farm. We had to turn up, whatever the farmer was doing that day, we had to do that job. If he was cutting silage or sheep dipping or whatever. But our farmer, luckily, he had a great sense of humour. It was the first day of filming. I said, Arthur, that was the farmer's name. He said, it's a long drive up to your farmyard. He went, well, Frazer, if it was any shorter, it wouldn't reach. Another day, we were always trying to be eager on the farm. And he was leading this cow. I said, when you take the cow, he said, I'm taking the cow to visit the bull. I said, can I do that? He said, no, it's got to be a bull.
Or were you ever stopped in the street and sort of and people coming up, you say you're Joe, hey, they send letters.
People always knew me. In fact, Ronnie McGill played Amos. He said, Frazer, it's amazing. When we do PAs, they always say, how's Annie, how's Amos, how's Stokes, and how's Frazer? He said, you're the only member of the cast that know the name, because I've been acting since I was a boy, and then through Doctor and stuff. So people always remember my name. It was Frazer played Joe, not Joe played by, what's his name? But we had a lucky producer called Bob Cardona, a Mexican-American, always used to wear a wolf skin coat. I said, can we have a bit of love life for Joe in this show, come here. I said, Jenny Hanley was a lovely British actress, beautiful actress, Jenny Hanley. I said, can we have a Jenny Hanley look-alike to play this character? Come in and said, no, I don't think so. So the day came, and I was in my little caravan, and Bob was directing at the same time. I said, Frazer, happy birthday. Oh, thank you. He said, ready for the scene. And I walked around the scene, and there was this girl, got out of this MG sports car, and it was Jenny Hanley. She said, hello, Joe, I've come to pick up your sheep. And Bob went, Frazer, I get a Jenny Hanley look-alike with Jenny Hanley herself.
Hello.
I just wanted to say I think you're absolutely amazing in the audios when you're doing the second Doctor, and it's such a tribute to him. And I think, how did you, I know you say you do him, but it's almost like you're channeling him at times.
Well, I can't do it, I have to do the hand movement for a start. I can't do that. And even in the booth, I've got my script from the lecture. Yes, yeah, and it is, it's like, once I get in that little booth, I become Patrick. And in fact, there's one coming out soon called The Laws of the Red Planet, where Michael Trout is in it, he's one of the guest stars. I thought, oh, God, he's in this lovely man. You're in the book, the great book, Michael Trout's book. And I thought, oh God, I'm playing his father, and he's in the booth, and it's like me doing an impression of you. You're going, I don't sound like, no, it sounds like you. So I did this scene, and the director said, how's that, Frazer? Yeah, fine, man. Michael, and he said, Frazer, he said a couple of lines in that scene he said, I could feel the hairs on my neck tingling, sound cracking, that sound just lucky, wouldn't you, to be in that music club? Jason! Jason, hi, Gallagher.
Thank you very much.
But David Richardson always said, just to finish it, he says, I get paid to play Jamie, but for me, I do Patrick for nothing because that's my homage to Patrick, keeping his name, spirit alive with all you guys. That's what I do.
First off, I'd just like to say you're my favorite comedian. I was wondering, of your time at the show, what were your favorite stories?
My favourite story has got to be the Highlanders, because if I hadn't done the Highlanders, I wouldn't be here now, I wouldn't go to Australia next week, I wouldn't be to Long Island Iced Tea Convention a couple of weeks ago. Daphne Ashburn, we came to Long Island Iced Tea Convention.
I had some of that Long Island iced tea you were drinking at that convention.
Oh,
it was very good.
So the Highlanders and all the rest were all good. You know, people said, oh, they found two good stories. Well, they are, but all our stories except one was really, really good. Really, I love doing all those stories. And the Web of Fear, funny enough, I'll tell you the story. The Web of Fear, we wanted to film down in the undergrounds, because in England in those days, the tube station shut between 2 and 5 in the morning. And London Transport said no. So our set designers, the bare bones of what at their disposal, built that underground set. The first episode went out, and the London Transport lawyers ran BBC and said, you've broken into the Covent Garden tube station, and we're going to sue you. They had to come along and see this set, which it was so lifelike. When Jamie has to jump, I went, are you sure this rail isn't electrified? It was so believable, so believable. I'm glad they found those two stories. Thank you very much.
What were you with you? So all but one is your answer for
Yes.
favorite story? Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the one?
The croutons.
Of course.
Only because we were going to do another comedy one where we landed up in space and it was a prison where all the men were women kind of thing, wore dresses, and the women were all gals and short plastic hot pants and, you know, shiny tight trousers and stuff.
We got the croutons instead, get the gong, here, get the gong.
Can you do a proton voice for Big Finish, do you think?
Well, I did one computer called Salvation Gambit, and I was a copy and I put it in my car, and I was going, oh, I played the back manager there. Oh, that's Jamie. Oh, I'm playing Ben. Oh, I played the monster there. I said, hang on, there's 9 voices, and I'm doing 8 of them. So I rang David Richardson. I said, David, you know, the producer, said, there's 9 voices, I'm doing 8. If you just give me a tight pair of jeans, I could have done Polly's voice as well. Yes.
You're also one of my favorite companions. And I just wanted to ask, did you like the kilt that you wore?
Yes. I liked the kilt because Jamie was a Highlander, and I always thought that I wanted to get rid of the kilt now. I always felt that Patrick was, silly, baggy trousers, me in a kilt. If I got rid of the kilt, I stopped wearing trousers. Then the next story, I'll wear a pair of jeans. I might as well keep my own jeans on, cowboys. Suddenly it's just Frazer Hines with a Scotch accent. So I always kept the kilt on for the Highlanders. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, we have a second.
Oh, we've got a second doctor.
Yes, as you can see, the second Doctor is one of my favorite, and again, you're my favorite companion. Really honored to be meeting you. It's talk to you.
Thank you.
My question is, if you could have an adventure with any other Doctor, one of the new ones, or maybe one of the newer classic ones, which one would you choose to find?
Peter Capaldi. But having done with the Colin, my next Doctor would be Sylvester McCoy. We've done a lot of conventions this year, Sylvester. We've also it'd be great. I said the only trouble is, Sylvester, if you and I turn a Doctor Who together, there wouldn't be anything shown because so much time fooling and laughing and showing ourselves. We probably wouldn't get any plots done. But I must say it's a great honour to see so many Patricks and Jamies lookalikes, dressed. And recently, there's suddenly been an influx. Of course, the 2 stories I've said. It's nice that people love the Patrick. I'm seeing Tom Bakers and Peter Davidson, and it's great to see Patrick. Thank you. you very much indeed. Thank you.
Really awesome.
The mind robber. There was an episode there where you lost your face.
Yeah.
And Patrick had to read your face. Now, I've heard different stories about what had happened and why they did that, and I was kind of wanting to get it from what happened.
The story was, I turned up for rehearsals one day, on a Monday, and I scratched it. And the theatre nurse came and said, "You got chickenpox." And my nephews were staying with me. So sent straight home, and I think it was Derek Sherwood was the script editor. Luckily, he just thought, well, it's a surrealistic story. It's, how the face disappears and Hamish Wilson turns up. The following week, I got better, so again, Hamish does that, his face falls off, Patrick gets to that. So luckily, it was, otherwise, if it had been a normal story, probably Jamie would have been knocked in the head, left in the dungeon to rot. But there's a lot of story about the mind robber. When Patrick and I, we first meet the mind robber, Emrys James was sitting at this table in the corner, and we come to the door, and this floor manager said, "Oh, Frazer, can you get near the table? Yeah, Patrick, stay by the door." I said, "A bit near the table, Frazer." I said, "Yeah, Patrick, you stay by the door." I said, "A bit near, Frazer." A bit nearer. I said, "I can't go any nearer because my wedding tackle is now resting on the desk." Patrick's voice was back there said, "Yes, that's mine."
Were you related to the guy that played you?
Hamish, no relation at all. No. He signed his autographs to Jamie too. I'm Jamie. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Each time you come back to play Jamie, have you had any reservations about, can I get into character immediately and double thinking everything you're doing in regards to, is this really the same character? Because sometimes when you take a break from a character, it is kind of difficult to get back into.
No, when I get to that big finish booth, it's amazing. Suddenly the voice goes up a bit like that, and suddenly, "Doctor, I've got to save that monster." "Oh no, we better run." And my voice suddenly goes up an octave. When I had to play Black Dawn, where who's got an altered change, so you just drop the voice down a bit. It's amazing. Just suddenly, your voice raises. Become Jamie.
Did you find it weird coming back and rolling the 5 and the 2 Doctors?
Oh, that was great fun. I was supposed to do with Patrick all the way through the 5 Doctors, but I was doing a soap called Emmerdale, and they wouldn't release me. So John Nathan Turner said, "Frazer, if you get any time off, I want you in the story." And I got my schedule. I said, "JNT, I've got next Wednesday, Thursday off." I said, "Right, I'll fax you a script up." And this fax came, and I had those 3 lines. "Doctor, the break is late. No, ah!" And if I said, "I'm Jamie, I can't be bothered to just do that." I went down to London, walked into the rehearsal room, Peter Davis was there, John Pertwee, all it, and I saw Wendy and Patrick, who went, "Yay!" We died on each other, we rolled over on the floor, and John Pertwee went, I remember that. So Sarah Jane, roll on the floor. And of course, JNT, when I was getting de-rigged, so to speak, he said, "Frazer, it's like I put you and Patrick in a prop cover for 16 years. It was a gap of 16 years. And you just went straight off the set. Would you mind doing more?" I did, not off. And that's how I came to do the 2 Doctors, which was great. Because Colin Baker and I, we know each other a long time before. So in fact, we shared the same woman once.
Really?
He married her.
That's another story. I also understood that you were supposed to be in the 3 Doctors, but you were supposed to just sort of do a "come on, Doctor, go off" thing. You couldn't get released from Emmerdale.
And it also in the 2 Doctors, so Wendy Padby had that sort of blue suit on, a very tight leotard and tights. But she was pregnant with her daughter. So of course, I think Bobby Bartlett, the warden, got those poppers,
Right. Bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap, that's it. And put on this bubble wrap and tied it to hide the bump. And we were, that's it, that's the costume there. Be careful because people have a pocket all day. It's funny, we could move on to Wendy. You've got to have you. Multi-doctor.
Oh, yeah, multi-doctor, wow.
Hello. I was wondering if you could possibly tell us about some of the jokes and pranks that you and Patrick were pulling on set.
Oh yeah, well, one of those things mine was Fury from the Deep. when we were land on this beach, and there was all this foam, which is special foam for putting fires out on airplanes. And we could only do one take. You put all this foam down in the direction where you walk through the foam for 3 weeks. By then, Patrick and I were telepathic. We walked and literally grabbed Deborah walking and rolled her over in the foam and she said, it's fine, stop it, it's fine. So the character though came dripping foam, cut, great idea, boy, marvelous, we can't set up another take anyway, we've got £1,000. So we got telepathic like that. It was wonderful. We just,
you tortured poor Debbie Watling for like the better part of a year. Like,
in the Daleks, I had to find his handkerchief. Okay? This is Miss Waterfield's. I recognise it anyway. And on the last rehearsal, I went to the wardrobe and got a pair of knickers. These are Miss Waterfield's. I recognise it anyway. Yes, there we are. Marius Goring playing the evil professor. He had a handkerchief in his pocket. He put the knickers in. He said, "Yeah, if I get the suppository." Oh, it's Miss Waterfield. And it was Darling, and then it was plunging. These are Miss Waterfield. How we got any show made, I don't know.
No idea.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Hello.
Hello.
Oh.
So, I hope I speak for most of us when I say that I was bouncing all over the house when I found out that Enemy of the World and A Weapon for Your Town. Because Enemy of the World was the one Patrick Troughton story that I was most hoping would be found again. So, which of the missing serials do you hope will be found next?
There's two. Evil of the Daleks. I love that. That was Deborah's first ever story. And the Daleks actually started to get friendly and trains, we are trains. They started moving around on trains. And of course the Highlanders, I'd love to say that again because that was my first story. And I spoke with a slightly different Scottish
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
It was the Highland accent because we just thought we were going to be in the 4 episodes. And that's how we speak in the north of Scotland, up in the Highlands like this. Oh, here comes the redcoats will be after chasing the redcoats. Where are you going?
Gina, where are you going?
When you turned the aircon on, the pool was freezing. So when I realised I could do it longer, I started to water into a television Scottish because you can't say, "Doctor, look at the size of that monster, he'll be after chasing us." You can't go, "Doctor, look at it, there's a monster there!" Yes, Jenny, run. It's more dramatic.
Yeah.
So, Evil of the Daleks and the Highlands. We wanted to find more. Actually, this picture it's got Patrick's first words, and it's got his last words ever. I'm sure.
Ah, sure.
Not a lot of people know that, you know?
No.
Not a lot of people know that. All right? How you
You must have been over the moon when you found out. When did you find out that Web of Fear and Enemy of the World were back?
This is a true story. I got a phone call on the Monday from Deborah Watling. "Hello, darling, I'm the Spielberg." And he said, "Right, what do you feel?" "We're going to the screening." "What screening?" "For the 2 shows, what 2 shows?" "Anyway, the BBC have not understand it." I heard when I started the show, and it was Debbie. So she rang the producer and said, "Is Frazer coming on?" Fred. "Oh, come, yes,
Hello.
Now you're still, of course, quite the handsome man. But I'm wondering, when you were playing Jamie with the kilt and the dashing and Jamie, what was the strangest or most remarkable piece of fangirl mail that you got?
It was fascinating that people come up to me, "What do you wear in your kilt?" I never dream of going up to a woman and saying, "What colour are your pants?" People have this sort of fascination of watching. Well, Jamie being a Highlander, obviously, would play nothing. Because it's a children's show, I always say, watch all camera angles for me, the cameraman watch it, because we must have shown him. The only time I was worried that there was a helicopter scene, and when the rope ladder comes down, I came to the ladder. And I thought, helicopter downdraft kill, like that. So I said, no, I think Sally would go first. I think Jamie let the girl go first. Sally, oh yes, of course. So the helicopter came in, she stood on the rope ladder, her miniskirt, that was the invasion. But lunch now, then we'll find out what Frazer wears. Well, my dress was fishing in the riverbank, And I read that morning that the Queen of England has lead weights sewn into the hem of her dress. So it's a windy day, you only see the royal car. So he put all these lead weights in for me. Right, lunch over, no rehearsal, cue the helicopter. I climbed onto this runway like that. Helicopter broke out, I stood on it, climbed up, my head hung straight down like that. And the camera, I was looking like, the camera was gone. They didn't find out.
And that's good.
Hi, I was sort of wondering what it was like for you watching those same episodes again. Like, what were some of your favorite moments, and did it bring back memories?
Yeah, but the strange thing is, at that screening, they started to show Enemy of the World. That's about 5 minutes. I thought, goodness, that was another story.
Yeah.
And I realised the last time I'd seen that episode was in the little green room, Lime Grove, where we used to break for supper. We'd watch that show going out, previous week's show or whatever, and then go for supper and then record our own show. And I thought, the last time I saw it was 45 years ago. I couldn't believe it, so I sat up and took notice. And of course, Patrick, who played Salamander, but it was a hard shoot for him and us, because we were doing. And he had this long speech, and he kept driving. And the whole thing is that when an actor starts to forget a line, you're playing the scene with him. Instead of being sympathetic, you start to giggle, you start to laugh. And he got to this long speech, and he got the line that he forgot before, and the next line, he forgot the next line, and we just laughed. He said, "Oh, you little shit, I've got these lines, he's drilling like apes." And I said, "Patrick, you're paid a fortune to say all those words. I'm paid to get the girls watching, and they're paid to get the dads out of the garden at 15. You're paid to say those words." No, we never, in 3 years plus the other lots of stories, we never ever had a cross word. I have to say that. Even when I got money off it. I read it in a motoring magazine. There was this little little boy in Belgium, a little statue. This little statue, and it's peeing. And I saw this car with 2 little silver ones as screen washers. And he pressed the button, and the boy. And I said to Patrick, I said, "Patrick, they do." "No, they don't." I said, "They honestly do." On that night, on the way home, I stopped and looked. There was a motor garage, and there was a white Rover 2000 with these 2 little silver monkey people. And I walked in and said, "How much for my Brabham Vivo?" And he said, "Oh, that's worth 600, that's 800. I wrote a check for 200 quid. In those days, you could just buy a car, boom, went to rehearsal the next day. I said, "Patrick, you know these young don't stop this barricade thing?" I said, "I'll bet you 10 quid there is, which is about £100 in today's money." So I said, "Come outside, go outside." So I said, "Oh, go ahead, right." And I opened the door and look, "Hey, just a minute." "What?" I said, "I bought the car." "You bought the car?" I said, "Yeah, just to get a tenner off you."
That's great. Thanks very much. Hello?
We really enjoyed Enemy of the World and one of your fantastic. We're so excited. My son loves the Eddies.
You have to watch in that order, funny enough. You have to watch Enemy and then that one.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was brilliant to see how they blend into one another. It was great. I have a question. I've never met Phil Morris. You have, presumably. A lot of people suspect that there's more to be found, more has been found. Anything you care to hint at?
Yes, I just heard it. And also, out in February, they're going to show it.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. You heard it here, they're going to show it. Yeah. These money,
The microphones are over, I think he's There's a lot of rumors that my personal view is I think they have found more, but obviously, they're business people. They're not going to flood the market with 10 new stories, because people say, "Oh, shall I buy that one, buy that one?" A couple of stories here, 6 months later, "Oh, there's market problem." A couple of months later, "Oh, we found this." That's my personal view. I won't have the market, what do you just say? Release?
And one follow-up. It seems to be they're going to a plain vanilla kind of release, at least initially for one of the theater. Do you have any idea whether they are going to ask you guys to record commentaries eventually, or?
I think he's drunk. Let's take my hands with it. Well, I think they will do. I think they will do a commentary. I mean, they have to. I think it's always good fun to hear what the actors think and talk and remembering. Because I've got a very very good retentive memory, so's Wendy, and so's Debs. You know, we just want to remember happy days. That's right. Things. How can you remember all the 40 years ago? They were happy days. You remember good things. You don't remember bad things. You're playing, well, you know, but you remember sort of good days.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Wow, I gotta say, the 45 minutes have just whizzed by. It's like the game. We're done.
No more questions?
Everyone, I want to thank the wonderful